Welcome to Toyfeld, the toy show about nothing and everything. If you're like me and you collect way too much stuff, then you've come to the right place. Here we're going to talk about toys from new to retro, all things Lego 1/6 scale, movies, cosplay, camera gear, sneakers, and much more. The list goes on. I wanted to talk about 501st and how you got into it. How did that all start?
Going to Supernova all the time.
Yep.
Like seeing those guys, so there was myself and two friends that would always go to Supernova, and the three of us would always traditionally get the backdrops that we have, all that sort of stuff, and it was always, give them $5 for their charity thing.
Yep.
Don't have to buy a raffle ticket or anything like that, but it was an added bonus. Never won anything. But give them $5 and get a group photo with Chewy and
things, yeah,
and whatnot in there, and that was sort of our thing. Like every time we went to Supernova, I think we'd done 3 Gold Coast and 3 Brisbane,
yep,
where we were doing that. And that sort of, I was like, well, I loved seeing, at the time I was doing stupid shit, like I was, I'd chuck on like a 3-piece suit, and then I'd chuck on a Boba Fett helmet.
Yep.
Or I'd chuck on, old time wear, and I'd have Wolverine claws, and I'd have big mutton.
Yeah.
Right? I actually had that one on. I had the big mutton chops, and I had Wolverine claws, and I was dressed very gentlemanly.
Yes.
And I went and watched Kevin Smith at the Tivoli. So I was sitting 4 rows back, dressed as Gentleman Wolverine, out to see Kevin Smith perform. So it was,
yeah. What was he performing his podcast? Was he?
It was one of the Jay and Silent Bob Get Old.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it was him and Jay Muse. It was actually for Comic-Con.
Oh, okay, wow,
But,
cool.
they had Jay Muse out for Comic-Con, and Kevin Smith was out as well to do his own thing, but he went to Comic-Con on the Sunday, I think it was.
Yeah, right.
I didn't get to go that day, which sucked.
Yeah.
But apparently he only done a panel, he wasn't doing a signing or anything like that, so I didn't really miss out too much.
Yeah.
But, it was pretty much meeting all the troopers, always talking to them. I had a bit of an interest in costuming and whatnot. Like I said, really dodgy ones.
Yeah.
And I sort of just kept asking questions, and it was I think it was 4 Supernovas I went to where I just kept on asking, and then one day it was actually just before my second Ash was born, and I said to the wife, right, that's it. I'm joining 501st.
Yep.
Because if it doesn't happen now, because I also enjoyed the charity aspect of it.
Yeah.
I get to dress up as a screen accurate. I'm never dressing up as a stormtrooper unless it's a black one.
Yeah.
I like the shadow troopers. Any costume that's dark, I don't do white armor.
Yeah.
So I got to dress up as a TIE pilot or a shadow guard or whatever, and I got to go and raise money for charity. So it was sort of giving back while still having a bit of fun in costuming.
It's definitely a good little thing that they have there, trying to give back to the community, put a smile on people's face and that, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, as you go along, your direction changes within the group, whether you're more focused on the charity work or you're more focused on the costuming or whatever it may be. I've sort of I always started from day dot where I'm pay me in high fives and fist bumps and I'm good.
Yeah,
Raising money for charity is really good, but seeing some of those kids, and you do a convention, you see an adult, and some of the adults, they lose it when they see a full TIE pilot, or they see Darth Vader, and they oh man, they see a TIE pilot and they go, oh my god, it's Darth Vader, and you're like, yeah, not really.
But the ones that know when when Darth Vader walks down the hallway, he's usually a crowd puller. And it gets it gets all the adults and all the kids going, oh, and I think the fact that they're so screen accurate and they make sure that nothing against people going out there and having fun, but straight away when a real Darth Vader costume comes down the aisle and it's fully legit, you go, wow, because you can't help yourself. You look it up and down and you're like, that is legit from the movie, and so it's even more impressive than someone giving it a go. I think that's what. And then when there's a big crew of them, I mean, you can't help but get excited and want to go see or get a photo or see what the hell's going on. So no, I get it for sure.
Trooped with a Vader yet?
Well, there was Vaders at the Dream World.
Yeah,
there was like 6 at that Dream World, wasn't there?
7, I think.
Yeah,
because we got a record. I'm pretty sure it was 7.
And there was a couple of them that I'm not tall. You're tall. I'm short, but I was like, holy Jesus.
Yeah, one of those would have been Pete. Pete is massive. Like, Pete towers over me, and I'm just like, even like once he puts the helmet on and it adds like an extra probably 3 to 4 inches on top of him.
Because what are you? You're 6'5", aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So I'm quite tall, so when I put my shadow guard on, that adds another 3 inches on top of my head. So and slim build as well, so everything's sort of form fitting.
Yeah, that's right. So I know what was first, but what was your first costume for people who are listening? What was your first costume that you started?
First one was a Thai reserve pilot, so very basic entry level. Black jumpsuit, black boots, gloves, and compad and a blaster and a belt. Very and a imperial hat.
And
so it's like,
how long did that take you, do you reckon, to kind of source and put together?
Didn't take long at all. Because once you sign up on the forums, you say, I got asking so many questions about, how do I do this? Where do I go for this and whatnot? I had a pretty good library of where I was going to be getting parts from and who to get them from on the cheap and all that sort of stuff. It was only the compad. I think it was only the compad that I got like externally and found myself. Everything else was as soon as you jump on the forums, you're like, okay, I want to do a Thai reserve pilot because it's the first, you can build 5 costumes off a reserve pilot.
Yep.
So I'd done that one, and then it was just everyone's like, okay, this is where you go for this. This is where you go for boots, this jumpsuit, this is everything, blah, blah, blah.
So everyone helps you out kind of thing.
Yeah, cool. Very, very communal sort of thing where everyone's just like, yeah, this is where you got to go, this is what you want to do, blah, blah, blah. And it took, ordering everything, I think I ended up 6 weeks. Yeah, right. Just to get all the different things together, and it was more waiting for the boots because the boots took the longest. The flight suit was I ordered it on a Friday and I saw it on the Tuesday. And that was coming from China. It was where did you get the boots from? What was that? Was that overseas too? Was it? They're Soviet boots. Sovietboots.com. So they come from the Ukraine. Yep. And they're German. They're called German Nobel Belchers, which are like German jack boots. So they're supposedly the most screen accurate. So I just went hell for leather. I had all the money just sitting there and just bang, 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 bang. And and then once you got it all together, did you have to modify or anything like that to get it all to fit you? Not really. The only thing I had to modify was I had to put stirrups in the ends of the legs, so when I put my foot into my boot, it would actually take the pants down inside the boot and not blouse out the top of it. Is one of them. When you walk, they go. Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah, and then everything else was sort of made to fit. Like the belt was just pretty much came as a raw thing. You just, put it around your stomach, mark where it's got to be done, and then
cut it,
pop your hole in, and you're done.
Do they come with a weapon? They don't come with a weapon, do they?
It's optional.
Ah, okay.
And so
did you choose a weapon or no first off?
Yes. I actually chose, I got a DL44.
Yep.
From a guy in Western Australia because, which has lights and sounds as well, which is awesome. Makes the kids really, you hand them your blaster and they're just like, and they're like, oh my God.
Yeah,
and they lose
cool.
over it. I got that one because like DL44, not only like, I thought for future use, I could do like a Han Solo cosplay, a Han Solo costume for entry into Rebel Legion.
Yep.
And that way I already had the gun. But you don't have to have a gun for like a sidearm for the bipilot, but it's better for photos. It's like if you're going to go a sidearm for a pilot, like go a DL44 or something of the same sort of size.
Yeah,
because it's sort of like, and this is a bit of an argument within the detachment of TIE pilots is, what's a suitable sidearm for a pilot? And we're all sort of like, well, you would never have an E11 because an E11's too bulky to be like on your side in a cockpit of a TIE fighter. So it's sort of like, well, you'd have something small, like
sidearm,
or sort of makes more sense. So
then once you got all the costume together, then like I know what you have to do, but for other people, you've got to take photos and everything and then submit them.
Yeah. Yes.
And did you get through with your first submission, or did you have to do another submission and change things, or?
No, I actually got through on the first time.
Cool.
With the pilot, so it was pretty fuss free. Everything fit well. Everything was fitted to me from the get go. Like my hat was actually like one of our garrison members actually makes our hats. So you pretty much like take the measurement around your head.
Yes. And
she makes it to order. So
very cool.
That is going to fit your head and pretty much only your head.
Yeah.
Gloves. When I ordered the gloves, I got them from Wampa Wear.
Yep.
And their measuring tool is pretty accurate.
Yes.
You go, sort of across the palm, and that tells you what size you need. They fit.
Pretty good. Yeah.
It's like a glove.
Yep.
So it was all that sort of stuff. I think the only other thing I really had to modify was the compad pocket on the sleeve was just a little bit too small for the actual compad to show the full thing.
Right.
So I just had to get a pair of scissors and just cut out the window in there just so it looked proper. And after that, it was.
So I suppose the benefit, just so people understand it, it's a TIE fighter pilot reserve. So if you know your Star Wars, look up what a TIE fighter pilot looks like, and it's the reserve version, the one without the helmet, and he's just wearing, like, say, the general style cap, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that the basics of it?
The pilot with no armour, no hard parts.
And he doesn't have the front, like, airpiece and things like that, yeah?
Yeah.
So that outfit's black, so that would be a better option for people to start off with, because then they can kind of go, I'm sick of that, I want to go to something else. Because I was just thinking, just off the top of my head, let's just say I wanted to be like a general. They wear like a grayer outfit, and then you can't progress from there, can you? You're basically a general, and that's all you are. Yeah,
like you get a general outfit or an officer outfit. That's like you can't
do anything past it.
Yeah. If you do a reserve pilot, you're pretty much opening yourself up to full tie.
Yep.
You can, like, with the aid of, like, 2 little belt boxes, you can become a warrant officer. Imperial Crew. Like there's all these variations where, you know, lose the gloves, put belt boxes on.
Yeah.
Put the gloves on, put the belt boxes on, and there's all these different variations, and you can sort of get 5 costumes out of one.
Out of one, which it's okay. So it sounds like a pretty good idea. And what?
Yeah.
That is that is
a good idea of how to gauge whether your interest is there. Like, because, you know, there's a lot of people that go, oh, you know, I want to be in the 501st, I want to be in the 501st, and then they get in and they discover, well, this really isn't for me.
Yep.
So, you know, if you're doing a toy pilot, it's your cheapest option to get in, and then once you've gauged whether you like it or not, then you can sort of progress on there, and you can go, right, I want to do something a bit more complex.
And in the movies, do we actually see any TIE Fighter Reserve pilots?
I have no idea. Probably Standing on the Bridge. I'm not like the Uber fan that's like, I dress up as one, and I I don't know this stuff.
Well, hey, I'm only asking my own question because, like you, I'm a pretty hardcore Star Wars fan, but there's just things that I just don't know the nitty gritties of, and that's something I was like, As you were talking, I always picture like Return of the Jedi, like the Emperor landing, and I picture all the troops laid up, but they're all in their best gear, and I'm thinking, I wonder if I'm thinking, nah, don't remember seeing any. I saw a stack of generals and things like that, but nah, it's all good. I was just curious, that's all.
For it to be within the 501st, there does have to be 3 references.
Yes.
So, you know, that might be one from... There might be like one from A New Hope, one from Empire, and one from Jedi.
Yeah, right.
And those are your 3 references. Or it could be, you know, it's on A New Hope, and then it's also in the comic books.
Okay. Yeah.
Tell more of an extensive story. And as long as you can find those 3 reference points, you can pretty much do that
costume. And it's legit.
Yeah.
Cool. And so then from there, obviously you liked it, because then you continued, and then where did you go? You basically went the route that you're saying is you know, like the go-to route was to say, oh hell, I might as well get a TIE Fighter pilot helmet. But you went somewhere else, didn't you?
I went somewhere else. It's actually so within the Jolly Roger Squadron, the TIE pilots, we have mentors. Mm-hmm. So a mentor, which I am one of, is somebody that you go to for all your TIE pilot needs. Like, okay, does this follow the CRL? Does this can I have these? Can I have these gloves? Can I do this with my boots, sort of thing? And we're there to answer these questions.
Yes.
So I went to my mentor, and I'm like, oh man, I'm loving it. This is so good. This was about, I think it was about 3 months in.
Yeah. What do I do now? You got the bug,
2.5 years now.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is so good. I'm loving every bit of it. And he just goes, you know what? With your height and your build, you would make a really impressive and really menacing Shadow Guard. And I'm like, Shadow Guard. I'm like, that's like from one of the video games, isn't it? He's like, yeah, it's from Force Unleashed and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Force Unleashed, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so, you know, I just Googled it, so I had a bit of an idea of it. And, yeah, I'm like, wow, that's a cool-looking costume, and I liked it for the saber pike, and it was like, you know...
It's basically a black royal guard for people who don't
you don't have to wear robes.
That's right. Yeah.
So you're not constantly getting tangled in robes and all that sort of fun stuff. So as it happened, I was like researching, like, you know, where do I get the armor from? Meanwhile, my toy collection is suffering dearly for my love of armoring, because I'm like,
money can only go one direction.
This stuff, you go, and there's the money for my new project, and
toys to the side, armor to the
Yeah, I
Armour
was
to the
selling
front.
my collection like
Yeah.
really cheap just to like finance armor builds. It was crazy. I think I only have about a quarter of my collection from like 2 years ago left.
That's how passions work, man. They come
trade
around
off one for another.
around in a circle unless you can afford to do them all, which
Yeah,
most
that's
people
right.
can't.
Until that lotto win comes in.
Yeah.
But and it so happened that one of the guys that I follow on Instagram, unfortunately, he fell on hard times, and he had a raw Shadow Guard kit. So he popped it up for sale, and I was just like, because I was looking at all the other things, like I was like going to be buying a TIE Pilot back piece and a Stormtrooper front, like chest piece, and then Stormtrooper shoulders and a Royal Guard helmet and all this other stuff.
Try and model
like
all.
no idea how I was going to do like shins or any of the other stuff. And so it just so happened that this guy Josh was selling his kit, and it was done in white ABS plastic. And I was like,
cool.
Okay, that's obviously like the only kit around that you can get.
Yeah.
And it got to me. Like I had somebody message me that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm already onto it. I've already messaged Josh, and I'm buying it off him like this week. So I threw the money towards Josh, and I think it was for the whole kit was $450 US, and at the time our dollar was actually quite good.
Oh, cool.
I think it ended up being about, like, with shipping and everything, I think it ended up being about $510 Australian, which is just unheard of for an armor kit.
That's right, yeah.
So I got it, and it sat in my garage for about a month, and I'm like, right, I got to do something about this. I bought the flight suit, which is just like the brand, the brand Dickies.
Oh yeah.
It's just like Dickies boiler suit, and I removed all the pockets off it. And I was buying belts, buying another belt because it had to have like an etch along each edge, like quarter-inch in, and all this really pedantic stuff.
Yeah. Was there not as big of a pool of people that are these shadow guards?
We're starting to get a few.
Yeah.
We're starting to get a few shadow guards. But yeah, and then I was looking at like the pieces that I had for my boots, and actually, the boots themselves. One of our garrison Vaders, he's like, he goes, I wear these boots, and I think they'd be ideal for a shadow guard. And they were like locally accessible, like they were from Horseland. They were like riding boots. They're like knee-high riding boots. I got them, and luckily they had my size, so I managed to pick them up same day. But then the armor that I had to have over the actual boot part, like the foot part, I actually had to manufacture myself out of PVC pipe from Bunnings, because the pieces that I got in the kit I couldn't do anything with, and I couldn't make them look the way they were supposed to on the CRL. So I went out and I bought myself a heat gun and like a 1.5 meter length of PVC pipe, and I was cutting these things and shaping them and molding them all around to make them look proper. And it looks the goods now, but like this is what the general public doesn't see was
the hard yards that you put in.
Yeah, they see like these awesome, and they go, oh,
how'd you do that?
And this is something that we find all the time. Is they're like, oh,
where do I get one?
Where do you buy that from? Like, where do you get it? And you're like, I made this.
Yeah, about 10 places, and I made this, and I made this.
Yeah.
And I had to get this taken up, and this taken up, and I had to paint this. And
people are like, what? You made that? And you're like, yeah, and this is what we got to do. So, yeah, and then I've actually got a really good photo of me. Like, I cut everything out. Everything had its fixings and everything on, and I suited up while the armor was still white, and I call it, we've got prototype FET that is like all white armor. I was in like a black flight suit with all white Shadow Guard armor, and I call it the prototype Shadow Guard.
That's cool.
And it actually looked pretty funny. Got a few laughs out of it.
Yeah.
But it was a matter of painting it, which was just waiting.
What did you use? Like just like a paint from a Bunnings, or did you have to get it professionally painted, like a 2-pack paint, or?
I'm fortunate enough that I have experience in painting. Being a mechanic and working in the automotive industry, you sort of touch on a bit of everything. So I used, I got recommended a few different paints that other people in the garrison used. And then I had a friend that just swore by iron lac. He swears by their paint. So I went and had a bit of a go of it and looked at their stuff, and I really liked the effects that it had. And
was it just in a spray tin, or was it?
Just pressure packs.
Yeah, cool.
So I was buying I think I bought for all the armor. I think it has 12 cans of paint on it.
And there's $20 a can, or whatever, something close.
Yeah, $9 a can.
Yeah.
So I had.
It all adds up, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I had to prime it first and then sand it back, and because working in the automotive industry, and I do get comments on the finish on my Shadow Guard, is like I went through the whole process of prime it and then wipe it back with wax and grease remover, and then first coat, really light coat, just tacky coat, then hit it with the wax and grease remover again, and I was doing it like it was a car.
Yeah.
So hitting it with the wax and grease remover.
It's the same principle, isn't it?
Yeah, and in the end, I actually had it was supposed to be a clear coat, matte clear coat, and I sprayed it on, and I suited up, and I got everything done, and it looked the goods, and I got it approved. Not on the first go. I actually had quite a few things come back to me to say, you need to modify this and do this and do this.
Yeah, wow.
One of the things was that helmet's sitting up too high, and I'm like, well, if you can change the size and shape of my head and my neck, go for it, because that's sitting where it can, and it has no padding whatsoever in it.
Yeah, right. But they were probably looking and thinking,
it's probably about an inch and a half off my shoulders, so it doesn't sit down on my shoulders like it should. But I can't change my genetics.
Yeah.
So as soon as I got it approved, modified all the stuff I had to, and then got it approved, I sanded that thing back because I did not like the look of what the clear coat put on it. Mm-hmm. It was put too much of a gloss finish on it.
Yeah.
So I took it all back and I spray painted it matte black.
Yeah, right.
And made it pretty much on like a walking chalkboard. And it adds to the look of the character. Like, that matte black look makes it look a hell of a lot better.
So what
in my opinion.
You had to, once you sent it for approval, did you have to then send new photos in for approval? So you have to get all suited back up again and then resend?
No. As long as you don't modify the armor in any way, shape or form, and you're not just changing the color.
Yes.
Not even changing the color, changing the finish.
Yep.
You can do it to an extent. It depends on the costume. Like, you wouldn't do a matte black TIE pilot because you got the gloss on a TIE pilot where you can see the reflections of
right.
When they're going around, you can see the reflections of the windscreen, we'll call it, in the front of the fighter.
Yeah.
But some of them, like especially like stuff from video games and whatnot, where it's not really defined as what the finish of that paint is or whatnot.
Yeah.
You've got to tweak things a little bit, make them look a bit more customized to how you like it.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I just get called Gandalf the Black when I wear that one.
Yeah.
I'll own that name. I'm going to get a patch made one day with Gandalf the Black on it.
Yeah, that's quite a big thing. We'll have to talk about that after the costumes, about the patches and the pins and things like that.
Patches and pins and coins.
Yeah, and coins. So after that, what was then next after the guard, the shadow guard?
After that, I did go back to what I originally wanted to do. I always wanted to be a pilot, so like a full-fledged helmet, chest box, everything. Asked my mentor again, like, where do I get it from? I really liked his armor, so I said, where do I get my one from? Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, yeah, you just get it from this guy over in, I think, where is... mine's from Sandprop, Arakiel, and it's he's probably one of the better armor manufacturers when it comes to TIE pilots.
Did you have to put it all together? Because I know that some of the armors, people think when they see like a stormtrooper, and I know only because I think the same until, obviously recently, that you see these helmets and things that you can buy at, like, say, a Pop Culture or one of these, like pop stores, like a stormtrooper helmet, but that's not how they really come to the guys that want to make the movie legit. They come in parts, don't they? And you have to kind of shape them and make them and glue them together, which, to the naked eye, a lot of people probably wouldn't even. They'd be like, where does it join? But when you really see it all apart, you're like, I get it. It does have a top part there, and it does have that part there, but I think it's half the reason is because they're giving you a quality product. And rather than, they could send it to you put together, you'd then just have to pay their hourly rate, really. Do you think that's the reason, or what would be the reason?
Well, it depends your aptitude for armouring, for piecing the stuff together. Some people prefer not to. When it came to my TIE pilot, I didn't want to because I had no friggin' idea how it went together. Absolutely no clue at all. So I just went, okay, that's it. I'll go and buy the Arakiel one.
Yeah.
I will pay however much it was. I actually cashed in my long service leave to buy it. So now I'm compromising holidays. I'm not selling collections. I'm compromising holidays.
Yeah. I will work 2 more weeks to have this outfit.
Yes. So I cashed that in. I actually cashed it in and bought camera gear as well, to further my photography career. But it was, I think it was just on $1,000 shipped. But when it came to me, helmet was complete with the hoses
all done,
and the hoses have like magnets to join onto the chest box. All I really had to do was bolt my chest box onto the chest plate.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it. Just modify my shoulder straps because they weren't approvable for our garrison.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then it was a matter of taking photos and bang, approved. Just fixing and whatnot.
So I suppose for people out there, there is methods to get these outfits, I suppose. Because I know that there is a really popular one. I always forget the name of it, but it's super, super expensive. I think it's a Pommy one that do like full stormtrooper outfits.
They're the guys that have like the most accurate, as they're known, the what they mold the ABS, like what they heat the ABS plastic over and vacuum form on these things are the most accurate to the movie.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure they're for a full outfit. You're talking about $2,500 or whatever the hell it was, and that's UK money, or I don't know. It might be $1,200 or $1,500, but then UK money. However, but I would still assume you would still need to mod some of the armor that goes around your legs and everything like that, because not all of us have the same size legs and forearms and calves and. Yeah,
there's still lots of modification that you have to do to
they at least get the helmet together kind of thing, which is sometimes hard, which I kind of feel like I would like to do on one of them, but yeah, so cool. You got it all done that way. That was a good idea. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it was like, because it was the first costume that the first armor costume that I really wanted. I thought, well, bugger it, I'm not gonna piss around with how this one goes together. I'm just gonna get someone else to make it that knows what the hell they're doing, and it paid off. Like, it was. I love my TIE pilot.
And does it have the little speaker box in there?
No, I'm yet to get that. Yeah, there's a few things, like the helmet's spacious enough that I don't need fans in there. Like with the guard, I've got like little computer fans in there that sort of circulate the air around my head, so I don't like overheat, because I sweat massively in that costume. You can't see it because it's all hidden by like the back plate. You can't see the sweat running down my back.
When you go to get one of those like voice things, if you ever go to get one, let me know, because I'll get one as well, because I want one just to have one for whatever it may be, stop motion or whatever. If I ever want to do a stormtrooper voice, I've got like the official little radio voice. But so then after that, then you moved into another direction altogether as well, yeah?
Yeah, I went a bit crazy. So I had my shadow guard, and one of the people in our garrison got in my ear, and this is purely because of a stature thing, like how her body size, height, and body shape all marries up with mine. My good friend Karen is our garrison Darth Maul, and she is one hell of a woman. She is awesome. I've seen her troop all day in Maul, and she gets up at, when we were doing Dreamworld, she was getting up at 1:30 in the morning to do her makeup for, doing Darth Maul all day. So she was up from 1:30 in the morning and going right through to 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, before she was then going back to her hotel room and spending another hour after that removing the makeup. That's nuts. So I got nothing but respect for Karen, because I know what she goes through now. Yeah. So she gets hers airbrushed on, but we'll get to my processes. So she said to me at Dreamworld, after we'd finished Dreamworld in 2016. 2017. Yeah, 2017. And she said, I could really use a brother for this whole trooping thing. Yeah. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. She goes, I could use a brother. She goes, I think you'd be perfect as Savage Press. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, right. I remember him from Clone Wars, but is
he actually that tall? Is he way taller than Darth Maul?
Oh, he's taller than me. He's
because how tall is Darth Maul supposed to be in like, say, real life?
Whatever Ray Park is.
Yeah, right. Google Ray Park.
Yeah, I think Ray Park. I think Ray Park's like 5'11", 6 foot. Like,
is he? He's quite tall. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to Google it, but while I'm talking.
Yeah, do it, man, because I want to
know. So I looked into Savage Press, and I sort of looked at it, and I just went, "Oh man, this is insane!" Like, there was bald caps involved. There was prosthetic horns. There was I have to have fake nails on. Some of the stuff, and then I don't know how extensively you've looked into the costume reference library on the 501st, but Savage Press didn't have anything.
Yeah. So were you like one of the first, or the first, or?
There was 2 others,
but none in Australia.
No, I'm first in Australia.
Yeah, right. Cool.
So
was that a bit of a goal as well?
Ray Park is 1.78 meters tall, whatever that is in inches and whatnot.
Well, I'm 176, which is like 5'9", so he must be like 5'10".
Yeah. He's 5'9".
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Cool.
So where were we up to? I sort of looked at everything with Savage, and with the CRL, there was no images. There was only text.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, when you have a CRL like that, you're going straight to screen caps
Images.
from the series, and then you try and look at it and go, okay, well, that's how I need to do that piece, and that's what I can make that piece out of, and it's sort of a lot of
research
and experimentation.
Yeah.
I went through so many things of EVA foam, it's ridiculous. I think I spent all of about $100 on EVA foam, and it was just buying like $10 packs of EVA foam mats from Kmart, and if I buggered it up,
them, yeah,
that was it. And
is that for your armor or?
Yeah, luckily, you read the CRL and it says like the skirt, the pants, and the obi have to be made of of raw silk or a similar material.
Yep.
So I went to Spotlight,
yeah,
and I was like, "Do you have raw silk?" And they're like, "Yeah, we've got raw silk. It's just over here." I'm like, "Yeah, awesome." They're like, and they had I think I had 10 meters of it left.
Yeah.
And there was a big sale on at the time and whatnot, and it was like 60% off fabrics. And the lady said, "Oh, I can't actually do it for this one because we're not getting it back in."
Oh.
And it was going to cost me I think $40 a meter or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, $40 a meter." I'm like, she goes, I said, if I take the whole 10 meters, can you do it at a discounted price?
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, I can do that, but only under one condition, that you can't bring it back." I'm like, "Oh, okay, let's roll with that." And I think it ended up costing me, in the end, about $130.
Yeah.
For potentially $400 worth of fabric.
And then you had to learn how to be a seamstress.
Did not.
Well, you had to give it to someone to go do.
I did, and through a lot of convincing and everything, I talked to our garrison seamstress who made my imperial hat.
Yep.
And she
conned her into it.
She saw it and she went, "I want to do this."
Yeah.
And I just went, "Okay, let's do it then."
Cool.
So, fortunately, her husband has one of the most epic clone troopers I've ever seen.
Yes.
And he had a spare set of van braces. So anyone else who's listening, that's traditional armour speak for forearm armour.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, well, you can have these. Do you think you can use them for Savage?" And I looked at him and I'm like, "Hell yeah, I can use them for Savage."
Yeah.
So I took him home, I cut them down, I remolded them to fit me because they were fitted for him, and he's a bit stockier than I am. And so I remolded them and made them look awesome. And then after that, she was making the skirt and the pants and the tabard, the little loincloth thing that hangs down, and the obi, and then we were talking.
What's the obi? What's that mean?
That's the underneath the belt.
Ah, okay.
So underneath the belt, you've got a pleated bit of cloth that just sort of, I don't know, the Jedis have them.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. It's what's under the belt. It's like another belt under a belt, and
it's like
the one that I've got. I don't know, 150 mil, and it kind of wraps around like a little robe kind of thing.
Yeah. And then, I had to look at how I was going to do the belt, because the fixings for the belt just don't, how it's going to be how the belt buckle's done, and there's so much bloody research, and it was a full year of research and building to actually get it to a level that both myself and the seamstress were happy with to actually submit it, because the seamstress is actually our garrison membership liaison, who is the person in charge of approving or disapproving the costume. So we were sort of in cahoots with that as to how we could make this look absolutely epic. And then when we found out that it was the last Dreamworld that we got to do, we just went, right, that's it. We worked towards Dreamworld, and we have this for Dreamworld, and this is like
the goal.
You know, this is the swan song, and this is the showstopper costume that's going to be there on the weekend. And we got there. The belt that I had to do was manufactured myself out of pieces of raw leather from a place up at Red Bank Plains. There's the set of horns came from a girl that makes them over in the States.
Does she make them for Darth Mauls, or?
No, she actually makes them for Savage.
Oh, okay, wow.
And a lot of cosplayers buy them from her, but I'm the first 501ster that's bought a set off her.
Oh, cool.
So she actually uses me as a as an advertisement as to how Savage should look.
Yeah, right.
And then there was, finding out what bold cap to use, how to put it on, like how to apply it and make it look seamless so it looks like it's part of you. Different face paints and
so just so people know, because I know that people probably might not know who Savage is. It's Darth Maul's brother, and obviously everyone knows Darth Maul with the red and black face paint. So JD has on yellow and brown. Is it a brown or a goldy brown with the same type of horns and everything like that?
Horns are much bigger. They actually have in the CRL that it says horns should be of a crown-like appearance. Yeah, right.
And do you have to shave your head when you put on the bald cap?
God, no. No, all this stays.
I wouldn't have that problem,
I'm clinging on here. I'm clinging on to dear life. It's really going backwards, but I'm clinging on here. But then there was like the vest. Like the vest has to have an armored look, so that it has to be of leather or a leather-like material. It's going to anger a lot of vegans when they learn that my vest is real leather. So that is hot as balls.
Yeah, right.
There's like armored piping and stuff like that. There's silver piping around the vest, and there's so much bloody work went into it. It's amazing that I don't troop it very often. I've trooped it twice.
And so you have to put in contact lenses?
Yeah, and I suck at it.
And you have to paint your teeth?
I don't have to. I can. I haven't so far. We actually meant to do it for Dreamworld, but time just ran out to get up for the group photo, and sort of just went, nah.
So you've obviously got to do a full shaven, but not your head, and you put on a hair cap.
Yeah.
Then you do a full face paint.
Yep.
And then, but you have like a jig or some sort of a template to work off, or do you just work off pictures?
Work off
pictures. Wow.
Until I can afford to get my face casted, I work off pictures.
And then just
I have
paint.
I had before my my good friend Sean moved to Adelaide.
Yeah,
I had the most epic person to paint my face because she was freaking fantastic at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all pictures. I basically sit there with like a eyeliner pencil.
Yeah.
And just draw it all out and map it all out where it's got to go.
Yeah.
It's actually a pretty simple design when you break it all down. The only thing that's really intricate is doing the patterns that go around the top center horn. they're a bit more intricate, but everything else is very sort of blocked in. I guess you'd say.
Are the horns glued onto the cap or afterwards?
Yeah. No, onto the cap.
So they're already on the cap, or you have to put them on?
No, I put them on. They get glued on every time.
Oh, right. Okay. And they won't fall off?
You didn't see the photos from Dreamworld, man? Like, with me having...
I saw you had some... what was the photo I saw that you had, like, Christmas balls and things hanging off your thing? Was that...
Oh, yeah, that was at the Toowoomba Christmas Troop a couple of weeks ago. But this was... Dreamworld, I had people's passes hanging, the lanyards. I had them hanging off there, so I got called the coat rack. Yeah. I had like a couple of hats hanging off there. At one point, I had a jacket hanging off there, and they were not budging whatsoever. And they do take a bit of effort to get off afterwards, but it just comes down to the amount of prosthetics adhesive that you use when you apply them.
And then you just throw the hair cap out and get a new one for the next time? Yeah. Oh,
they're about $30 each, so, you know, I don't troop it that often.
How do you paint the back of your head?
That's where Sean came in.
Yeah. So who comes?
All that sort of stuff.
You need someone else to do it now.
But it's all so when I first done it for my approval photos, I actually had a professional face painter do my makeup for me because I needed it to look 100% legit, and he was up for the challenge. And she taught me a lot about how I apply this certain face paint very fast. Mm-hmm. So I use a water-based one. So basically, I have a kabuki brush that looks like, you know, what ladies put like their blush and foundation and whatnot on with. I get one of those and I swirl it around in this paint mix after it's wet, and basically it just paints on like super. It's really quite easy once you get into it, and it's sort of just mapping out around the horns once they're on. But then people like Karen, they have like an alcohol-based face paint. So they have a template, like they paint their whole face red with airbrush, and then they get their template and
paint the rest black.
And then take it off, and then they like Karen's husband Dan does like all her finer lines, but he has a face plate where it shows all of her
whereabouts it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
It's a lot of work, but for some of the reactions that you get, it's just so worthwhile. And
then tell me about the saber, because I know when I was looking at doing, even before I got my Jedi, I thought, well, hang on a sec, like we were saying before, I'm bald, so I thought, oh, maybe I could do Darth Maul. I thought, that was a good idea. And then I looked up the saber, and when I looked up the Darth Maul legit saber, I think it was from memory, it was like, I don't know, maybe $800 or $1,000 US, and I went, oh, God, help me. And then I thought maybe, because I only just kind of stumbled down that path, I was already on the Jedi path, so I thought, well, hang on, just stick with Jedi for a bit. Don't even concentrate on looking at that avenue until you get one suit sorted first. So tell me about the saber. It's double-bladed?
Yes, double-bladed saber. It's made by Carps Customs in the US. It was the only one that he ever made, and he made it for someone that commissioned it that wanted to do a Savage build. Yeah. This guy unfortunately couldn't complete his Savage build because things just got a bit too pricey for him and whatnot.
Yeah.
And impractical, I think it was, he said.
Yeah.
And I was looking to buy it. He put it up on the forums. He's like, I'm looking to sell, blah, blah, blah. I went, oh, I'm on this. So I was messaging him. I'm like, dude, I want to buy this. How much? Can we work out a payment plan or something? Like, I need this, because he had the belt buckle and the belt greeblies as well that I needed to complete. And he's like, oh, I'll get back to you in a couple of days. And he's like, you know, I got work on. I'll get back to you in a couple of days, but, you know, you're the first person to inquire, so, you know, it's yours if you want it.
Yeah.
So I'm in those 5 days. I'm like scrounging around, going, okay,
what can I sell?
What else can I sell? And I'm looking for everything to sell, just trying to get up the money to. I think it was $350.
Yeah.
In the end, and then I went, okay, cool. I'm pretty sure I've got a good majority of the money here. I'll message him and say, you know, I've got a pretty hefty deposit for you. It's like, I think I had about 70% of the money together.
Yeah.
And I messaged him and I'm like, dude, I've got that money. You know, I've got a good chunk of it here. And he just didn't reply to me for like another 5 days after that.
Oh, and you were like peeking out.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then he got back to me and he's like, oh, okay, cool, man. I'm going out of town for a couple of days. I'm like, okay, no worries. And he's like, yeah, we'll talk about it when I get back. And I'm like, okay, cool, no worries. There's no rush. I'm still building this bloody costume.
Yeah.
And then he, you know, I just went, I'll leave it for 2 weeks and that way I'll be able to get the rest of the money together. And I messaged him again and I'm like, oh, dude, you know, I'm pretty sure I have money together.
Yeah.
And he went dark on me. He just went completely silent. And he went radio silence complete. And I was just like peeking out. I'm like,
where else am I going to get one?
What the hell? And then Sean and her husband Darren, we actually trooped Sean and Darren's wedding up on Tambourine Mountain, which was fantastic. That's how I met them. They messaged me one day and they're like, sorry to like disturb you. You want to come around to our house because there's a package that's been delivered to us. And it's got 97666, which is my 82666. Sorry, 66682. I don't even know my own TK ID. What the hell? What sort of stormtrooper am I? I'm not a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh yeah, it's got, you know, it's got your TK ID all over it. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
like,
you're thinking, what did I buy?
I'm like, how did it end up? What the hell? And I went around.
Did you have any idea at this stage? Or?
Not a clue. Like Darren and Sean are extremely generous people. They are. They bought, you know, Mark Ratz, the Star Wars artist.
Yes.
Does like the Star Wars posters and whatnot.
Yeah.
They bid and won his piece that he done for the Galactic Empire charity ball that we had.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he was at Supernova.
Yeah. So they're actually quite good friends with him now. They've actually got, I think, 6 pieces of his.
Yeah, right.
But every time they've bought a piece from him, all the money has gone to charity. So very generous, very loving, very giving people.
Yeah, cool.
Just amazing people. So I went around to their house. You know, I'm like saying to my wife, I got to go around to Sean and Darren's. I got they said there's a package there for me, and I'm like, they better not have bought me anything. So I got around there, and they're like, oh, here you go, and it's like a post pack, like
huge,
massive post pack, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I opened it up and just saw like the tip of one saber.
And you went,
and then like the packing peanuts sort of fell away from it, and there was 2 saber ends. I'm like, you freaking did you? And I'm like, and it's like that saber's there, and I'm just like, I can't accept this.
That's awesome.
I'm just like, no, take it back.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, like I can't accept this. And they're like, no, we know how much effort you've put into this costume. We know how much money you've injected into it. We want to see this happen. We want to see this costume done.
How cool is that?
And we want to see it done right. And they're like, you know, you trooped our wedding. You've been an amazing friend to us. Like, you've welcomed us into your family with open arms. And I'm like, that's just what I do for good people. And yeah, they were just, amazing.
That's awesome.
I'm just like, see, this is like the spirit of giving. and a very Jedi-like way of, giving without thought of receiving anything.
No, that's super nice, isn't it? That's so good.
And it's rare to find people like that, but I'm finding more and more people like that within this community that are they're not there to, help anyone for anyone else's, like for their own gain. They're there just to help because
they want to be kind.
Yeah, they want to be kind, and in the end, it's going to come back around to them because you're going to help them with something that they can't do or whatnot. So it's I'm
sure it would have made them feel just as good as what it would have made you feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They would have been excited. Because even I got excited just hearing the story. I had a fair idea of what was going to happen. But I was like, I know where this is going. I can't remember whether you told me that story before either. But I caught an idea of, I think I know what's going on here. And I even got excited during the story. So it shows how giving is it's a powerful thing, It's being kind to people and being, actually not doing it other than just to share a passion with someone else is awesome,
But
no, that's awesome. So then the costume then got all submitted, got all approved first go, or did you have to do some mods?
No, there was no mods done to Savage
because they would have only had reference photos like you to go off, basically.
Not only that, but I'm fortunate enough that I'm friendly enough with the detachment leader, who is the person that had to approve this costume. It could not be approved on a garrison level because of the lack of reference photos.
Yes.
So she's the one that had to approve it.
Yeah.
But what we try to do within the realms of the 501st is when you're doing a build, it always pays to do a build thread.
Yeah, and then people can help you out.
Yeah, you start something on the if I'm doing a build, I'll start something on the Redbacks Redback forum.
Yeah,
that's my thread. So anyone else that lives locally that wants to get into it and they want to learn how to do that costume, there's a guide for them there. So I try to do quite an extensive build thread on how to do that.
Yeah.
Then I do it on the detachment as well. So when I done my Shadow Guard, I done a build thread on the Sovereign Protectors. When I done Savage Press, I done a build thread on Flagship Eclipse.
Yeah.
So the detachment leader saw all the work that I'd put into it and how I made the armor myself, how I'd done the van braces myself, the boot armor, how I'd done like the boot tips are actually like paper mache on the end of the boot, like it's actually incorporated into the boot, and how I'd got because the boots have to have 3 leather belts on them that appear that they're holding on the armor, and how I've got those fixed on there. Like,
they've seen it all.
Yeah, so they've seen how the builds come along, so they know that I've done everything I can to make it look as authentic as possible, and that fares really well for you at approval time.
Yeah, because they're obviously going in there, and if they have a problem with a boot or whatever, they can go, well, hang on, I'll go into his build thread and see what he's actually done with the boots.
Yeah.
Because they might not be able to see it on your photo, maybe.
But even coming down to things as little as, putting the boot on and showing how it sits on your leg, like where it sits, like because the costume might ask for it to be halfway up the calf.
Yeah.
It might ask to be knee high. Just simple things like that really make a difference when you're getting something approved by the Legion. And so it was sort of like I didn't even submit my photos to I submitted my photos to the garrison just out of not continuity, just more out of procedure.
Yeah.
Submit it to the garrison, and then they will liaise with the they'll liaise with the detachment leader to figure out if it's approvable or what. But because I've been friends with the detachment leader for so long, I send them through to her as well. I'm like,
So
these are going to be hitting your inbox soon. So just wanted to show you.
Yeah.
And she just went,
looks good.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
She goes, that's blown me away. And she still makes comments to me about how she loves my Sauvage. So yeah, it's she's like, you look just like the Sideshow collectible statue. I'm like, I really don't. I've just got people that know how to do makeup really well.
I know you got to go to work, man, so I'll just ask you one more question. I mean, we can talk afterwards, but I always like to ask what motivates you to keep doing all the costumes and everything like that? What's your motivation? Is it the people? Is it building more costumes? What do you get out of it the most?
That's a really good question. There's so much that I get out of costuming, building, wearing, everything. The building side of it. So
you enjoy the building side of it?
Oh yeah, it's something that keeps you busy. It's a hobby. It's the same as you with your toy photography, or someone working on working on your car, or it's something that keeps you sane, really.
The satisfaction of completing it is cool as well, I assume.
Oh God, yeah. There's so many different aspects of it, like having a something that provides a challenge to you, and then when you step over that challenge and it's just like, I've nailed that, 110%, that looks amazing, it's going to make this costume really pop. That sort of stuff is sort of a really good motivator. And then the whole wearing of the costume, like that first outing in that costume, just makes it ticks so many boxes. I always say it's not a troop until a kid cries. And Sauvage at Christmas, the Christmas troop, made 12 kids cry.
Oh, really? What, from excitement?
Oh, no, not excitement, man. They were scared.
Were they?
There was actually a group of, I think there was about 8 of them, teenage girls. And I was just standing there, sort of, arms folded, and I just stood there, real still. And I was standing there for a good solid 5 minutes, just not budging whatsoever.
Yeah.
And they're, looking at me, and then I sort of turned to the side, and I'm like, ah! And they just screamed and ran and, had a bit of fun with it. And but, seeing kids' faces light up when they see, there was one kid at the Christmas thing that saw Sauvage and just, he's like, "You're Sauvage Press, you're the Darth Maul's brother." I'm like, yeah, man, good job.
That's cool, man. And last one, but what's next? You got any idea?
I'm
what's next?
Working on a
is it a secret?
No, of course not. If you look at my social media, you see what I work on. Currently, at the moment, I bought a Tusken Raider, a New Hope Tusken Raider. So, episode 4. Bought that off a ex-member who was my same height and build. So, just have to do some
mods.
I'll just have to do the bandoliers and get a gaffy stick.
I actually really like the Tusken Raiders because you can kind of get away with being a bit of a goofball in them, because that's what Tusken Raiders, they go,
I get away with being a goofball at all times. even in Sauvage, I actually reached out to the voice actor for Sauvage and asked him, pointers on how to get the voice right. And he's like, speak slow, low, and in a gruff term. So, I adapted my voice. So when I'm in Savage, it's like,
you try and talk,
hello, little one, and like really give them a good character thing. But then you'll have like a group of young girls come up to you, and you'll just have like this real stern look in your face, and then they'll go, like, they'll wave at you, and you just like put the high pitched voice on. You're like, hi, and they just get thrown off by like this big like dude with horns and yellow paint and big armor and everything. Just have this real girly type voice, and you can sort of have a bit of fun with any costume you have, really.
Do you want to? We'll round this up. Do you want to let everyone know what maybe your social medias are if you want to go get people to go follow you and see your costumes and things?
It's pretty easy. Flashheart501st on Instagram. It's FLASHEART501ST.
Awesome, man.
A long name.
We'll round it up. I'll stop it, but we can talk afterwards. But Toyfeld is also on YouTube and is also on iTunes and Podbeam. And this is episode 9.